Hello there, and it's AK Rex coming to you guys with another RANT video. So I will start off with something that I consider to be the least thing that basically annoys me, and up to the worst on my personal list. If you have your own lists of sorts to share, that's obviously they may be in a different order depending on what experiences you had. So I'm just giving you my personal perspective here, and I just want you guys to be aware of certain things and understand what's actually going on, because there are a few things that have been addressed, but there are other things that just aren't being talked about very much, and I think they need to be talked about, and then you can decide how you want to go from there. In any case, so we'll start off by this Jurassic World Evolution. As you know, I have already done some content on this game in my channel, and I am actually quite annoyed at some things about it, because let's just say, let's go to the review and see what this, by the way, Contrite Lexicon, I know this guy, and I found this review helpful. He says, it plays like a mobile game with a AAA graphics. It is shallow and tedious with nothing really rewarding to do, which I 100% agree with, and there is also another side to it which he hasn't addressed, but I will get to it in a few moments. So there's another review that says, see, there's good points, nice looking dinosaurs for the most part, Jeff Goldblum, music, something else, whatever, maybe he might find some other stuff, and this is where it ends. And then you have extremely boring, provides meaningful fun only for 5 to 10-year-old. Pretty much true. I unfortunately have to agree. It's not the same like the JPOG, where you had a lot more sort of, but then again, look at it this way: the difference in what are the expectations and demands from the crowd in terms of gaming, they have, come a long way as well. So you kind of have to look at that as much. Have to provide something truly, you know. Obviously, I don't agree with the fact that with money, it's like, you can still you can read this yourself. But yeah, I mean, there's a yeah, it's quite easy if you do the right thing to make money. But then if you do like, the hardcore whatever difficulty, you're probably gonna be going bankrupt and going insane, very very quickly. So that's it's not really like, but in any case, yeah, there are like lots of different things that I wanted to discuss. But my main, I mean, that could be discussed. I don't want to do it in this video. But my main problem is that here. So I have purchased it for £50, which basically includes the deluxe dinosaur pack and the main game, which made it all together. I believe it's 50 or 55. It was £55, or wasn't it? No, no, it's £50 because it was a bit of a discount. If you purchase them separately, then yeah. But of course, if only I knew better, I could have purchased this for with a 10% discount for the whole bundle. But there's another problem. You see, a game, I've never purchased a game in my life that would cost about £40. Never. Like never. Not that I can remember, at least. And if there was a game for £40 that I have purchased before, it's always been at its tops. Like, it provides way more experience, in terms of gaming and replay value than than this game does, and yet it charges you £45, at its base. Then you have all this extra stuff, content. Like, look at this. So that means you have what? Let's say you may be lucky and let's say you buy a bundle, you would get it for almost 65 quid, right? That is still quite a lot of money for a game that basically like should have already included things like basically all of the stuff that is included in all of this. This should have been basically £45. It's just spending £50 on the game. This is obviously a cash grab. It's just them milking it. You know how this new whole thing with Universal, and how ever since they continued with this Jurassic World journey, it's all been nothing but a cash grab, and the content itself they produce is pretty rubbish. Like both the films, pretty much. I mean, 2015 film, mostly rubbish. Fallen Kingdom, complete trash. And, it's just a typical cash grab. Nothing more to it, really, that looks occasionally pretty, and that's it. But in the game itself, yeah, of course, it looks pretty. But as I said, as the other guy, Contrite Lexicon, said, It's just for like kids basically. It's just a very well dressed up mobile game, pretty much. It runs its course very quickly. It doesn't provide you with the iconic movie skins. It doesn't provide you with the whole from scratch island roster like you had in the original JPOG, for example. And you just basically left there bored to death, just doing nothing. I mean, you don't have a pro. I mean, of course, the Nublar is like your so-called side B, but I kind of wanted some of that stuff that I listed earlier as well. That's one of the main reasons why I actually even wanted the game is that I was thought that maybe we were gonna be able to build the same kind of, from scratch islands. We would have the iconic movie skins as well. Maybe if you play certain missions, you can unlock them and stuff. That's what I was hoping for, and I didn't get either of these things. Not to mention many other technical problems that I had with it and all of that for this price. As far as I'm concerned, this game is not worth it. Like, not much. I would advise those of you who haven't got it yet, just postpone it for later as much as you can. Hold it off. Slap your hands if you have to, or whatever. Or put a freaking, I don't know, safety code on your credit or debit card, whatever, on your account, and give it to somebody you trust, like your parent or whatever, or your sibling. But well, I'll probably just give it to your parent instead because you never know. Siblings can be quite cheeky, but not that they are. But I'm just saying. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, don't rush into this because I think later on they might introduce more stuff and they will give you a better discount. Maybe they will even have to like put the prices down even further, sometime down the line because uh, this is gonna run its course eventually, of course, and I don't know if it's gonna really happen by the time we get to what was it 2000 is it 2020 or 2021 when the next film is gonna be out. So I'm not so sure about what's gonna happen there, but let's hope and see that this is gonna come down and people who are new to this will know better than we did, or me in particular as well. So there we go. There's that thing, and that is my main problem with it. I mean, if they, or at least if they do this some course correcting, I would even be willing as far to go as far as slowly maybe saving up on some of these just to give them, this money. Just as long as I can get basically the island from scratch builder, like in JPOG, and of course as well as long as I can get, the iconic movie skins. I could at least be happy with all of that and get all of this here. But as far as Secrets of Doctor Who go, I mean, like, yeah, it's cool that we get a Loro Titan. We get, I don't know what the hell that is. I can't remember. Is that a Spinoraptor or something? It's like a hybrid. Yeah, we got a Troodon, Scaly Troodon, right? And yeah, we got some modifications for behavior, which is what I wanted to. So Allura Titan is awesome anyway. So then it's from Russia as well, so it's cool. Because as you know, I was born in Russia, although not Russian myself, but I was born in Russia. So yeah, in any case, yeah. So there's but this like I don't care about that. I don't care about all of this. I just want dinosaurs themselves. I don't care about no freaking hybrids. Don't like them anyway. It's just stupid. I don't. Nah. Bah. Nah. Anyway, so that's my rant on this game, and that's where it pretty much ends. Just want something that provides a bit more to the actual gameplay, that doesn't make it look like a game for freaking kids, for that kind of money that I've paid for it. Basically, I just want something. I just want to get out more out of this game. Uh, to actually make it worth the money that I have already paid, not to mention whether or not I want to consider giving any more money. So that's basically what it is. Other than that, I'm pretty much done on that side. So now let's go on to next point. That's the one that I was very disappointed with. Yeah, I have already seen the videos by, oh my god, what's her name? You know who she is, the girl, something Talon 94 or 6. Oh my god, I can't remember. I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me. So, and the Gaming Beaver did a response video to her basically talking about that. So I'm not going to get into every detail. The point to make is I had a lot of hope for this game, and I was being constantly, well, from time to time. Okay, not constantly, but I would say probably from time to time, but on a regular basis. Messaged by some of the devs. From not going to list the names directly because it's not really even important. but they were just saying like, so dude, you should back it, blah blah blah. Well, they were doing basically what they were supposed to be doing. They were promoting, trying to encourage people to, support the product. But again, my problem was that they haven't delivered a whole lot, of course, as far as correspondence went. And obviously, when they delivered the demo, I tried it, and oh my god, that's horrible. Sorry, Robert, but that's just that it just is. But I know it's old, so it's been updated ever since. The newer model is significantly better, basically, and they have some nice models actually. They've had some, but hey, the whole thing went to shit, and I unfortunately never, like many of us, never saw this game come to fruition because it turned out to be an ultimate scam, and that's one of the reasons now to distrust more and more of these independent games. And it's not fair to the independent, dev teams, because not all of them probably have any malicious agenda, but it seems consistently to be proving to be the case. Most of them do, because it's a very easy cash grab. Not unless, of course, we start seeing more extreme measures being taken against these things. Generally, you would probably end up in jail for doing something like that, but well, who go figure. So there is that. And yeah, shame, both shame regretfully that they have, failed to achieve their goal, and shame on them for basically scamming their backers. And this is one of the things that Gaming Beaver and admitted that him and Best in Slot gave 800 or something like that. Like it's definitely above $600 or something to back this project. And no, don't do it. Don't be so naive and trust them. Never trust anybody with your money like that. If you want to donate with something like, I don't know, $15, $20 maybe, or 25 even. But because if you lose that, yeah, like regretful, but whatever, you can live with that. But losing this much money and potentially never being able to get it back, oh, that's gonna sting. I mean, it's regardless of how much money you have in your bank account, you don't want to lose $600 on literally nothing just so that you know, some asshole can just take it and run off with it. So yeah, go figure. That's why I always say don't be in a rush to give your money to anybody. Always get your facts straight. Try to go through that honeymoon period, when you first fall in love with an idea and it's kind of all over the place and you're thinking how amazing it is, and it's always painted in this nice bright picture. So make sure you take off your pink glasses first before you actually make any decisions. That's how it is. And guys, it's the same in everything. It's the same in dating game as well. Don't rush into anything until you can, until you're sure about what's going on. You see all the facts and don't trust the feelings. Okay, feelings change. Today you feel this way. Tomorrow you're gonna feel the other way. So that's the same about games too. Don't like rush into backing it until you know for sure what's going on. You get all the facts on the table. That's what you wanna do. Your money is important. Don't just throw it away on stuff. Okay. So now we get to the final point, and this is where it's gonna get interesting. Uh, yeah, I know everybody has been asking me to do that quite a lot, mostly in private messages. But yes, Saurian. But the thing is, that's not really the point. I don't care about what sort of science, quote unquote, they're doing, because they're always, they are known for doing their own science at this point. But look at the amount of money. Like that was the goal, yeah, 55,000. The amount of money they raised is 220 grand. Well, you could pretty much say 223 at this point, because it's only like a couple hundred away from it. And where is all this money now? Why have we not still seen the product? Because this is actually a lot more money than Star Wars Theory raised for his Vader fan film, and considering how great that looks for that budget, which is much smaller, it was like at most it was about 250,000. So this is way more than that for a game that has to have at least the basics to play and hold the environment and all that stuff, just so you can start off at least, before you start expanding with some extra bits and pieces, maybe adding more maps and all of that stuff. This would have easily covered it. But hey, go figure. I don't know. Maybe there's something I don't understand, and and I'm taking that into account. Maybe there is something that costs so much that all of this money just got sunk into it, or maybe a large portion of it also got sunk into, I don't know, releasing a completely unnecessary field guide or whatever book or art book or something. I don't remember what it is they released, which was just completely off the point. Should have just been focused on making the game, but that's just okay. Whatever. Um, so we're gonna scroll down. So we see like that's the breakdown. So you see where most of the money goes. So a lot of it goes directly to the team, and specifically to artwork. Wow. So you see the software part where you have to do the coding and programming is actually not that bulky compared to all of that. So that's my point. Like, why was it not made if you have so much money already? Why did that not happen? So we have these guys specifically, Palmer and Masna, got this much money, and oh, um, okay, yeah. So 7,500 and 8,000. That's just remember that for now. And then we've got when we go down, we have the. By the way, that's a nice silver trike. I like that. Um, and blah 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 yada yada yada. Hello there. Yada 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 yada. Okay, so here we have the we say what gentle source. So what are you're all gentle? Is that what it is? I specifically want you to pay attention to this guy, Tom Parker, and well, RJ obviously right here. That's a nice photo, by the way. That's the nicest photo of RJ I've ever seen, by the way. And we got Chris Masnaghetti. Masnaghetti is the full name, so the Masna is just short. Okay, that's fine. So remember these guys and this guy over there. Now, I want to start off by basically just giving you a little bit of an intro and refreshment of what happened with RJ, because a lot of it actually involves him, and you will see why. So let's just start the barbecue right now and put some charcoal in, get it warmed up, and prepare the oils and all of that and spices, and get the, get this frying, tray, whatever, the grid ready as well. So while that's getting ready, let's jump into it. So here, this guy here, Tello 640, 640, whatever. So Tello, I'm just going to call him Tello. And I presume his name is Othello, I would imagine. I'm just guessing. I haven't actually looked so on the profile description itself, so it could be, it could well be that case. So yes, Othello basically says, hi, I guess you guys are coping. So you can read that. But then again, okay, here's what I want to say. I want to make this clear to everyone. I mean, there's nothing technically wrong about it because it's true. I did call it. I did say that feathers were never proven and they're not supposed to be there, whatever. But don't put words in my own mouth in the sense that unless I specifically go in there and engage in these things, don't say things on my behalf like that. Unless it's absolutely necessary. But I just think that there was nothing really necessary. It's just like this comment technically tell my personal opinion is again I'm looking at all sides of the argument here. I'm not just going to be specifically criticizing one side and ignoring the other. This one here, I think it was not necessary. Everybody knows that I called it. Everybody was aware of the fact that I was never supporting that idea, and rightfully so. And yeah, there was no need for it. I mean, you could have easily just let it go, man. You know what I'm saying? But with that out of the way, RJ, first half of the response was very on point. There were many skeptics of feathered Tyrannosaurus, and that's perfectly fine. But then he goes on and starts slandering me, and that's RJ where you made another mistake because that earned you another, highlight for all of these people out there who are checking this out. Hopefully, so AK Rex is an idiot. Well, nice one. That's definitely adding up to the list of names that you have called me. Not that I care or get offended. I'm just gonna be ridiculing it and roasting you because the barbecue machine is warming up right now. So then, of course, they go on into this long argument. Then you can read that if you want. And yeah, like there are so many better sources of information than crappy AKRX. But see, RJ, that's the problem. I get my sources from the papers and science, science journals themselves. So did you just call them crappy, basically? Because that's where I get my sources from. I'm not a source myself. I cite sources, but I'm not a source myself. So, yeah, you really have, just made a very strange, argument But not that it's an argument because you haven't given any context, as you never do, but whatever. Uh, Californian. Yeah, well, there we go. Why am I not surprised? So there, it's just very predictable on RJ's part, because it's just RJ being RJ. So let's just unfold this and quickly see what's going on. Then yeah, they have a go about it. You can read all this if it's still there, but if not, I have the screenshots and just feel free to request them if you wish. So um, yeah, of course he goes. AK-Rex is bad, so it's a typical NPC response basically. AK-Rex is bad. I also would never call sources of info dumb. Yeah, you just did above because, as I said, I cite the sources. You called me as a source dumb, but me as a source actually is citing all these sources, so therefore all these sources are dumb. RJ. And yes, I am all bad. I'm a bad motherfucker. That's what it is. So you got that right. Right. Let's continue. Okay, I can sort of see that somebody's preparing the sauce now for the barbecue. So keep it coming, guys. Keep it coming. So now what's going on? Oh yeah. Okay. So they exchange. Blah blah blah. So eventually RJ just goes off. Whatever. And then we have some white knights coming in here trying to obviously say stuff, although they admit here in some of the paragraphs that they don't actually even know what's going on. So Tello pretty much owns them here. But yeah, Tello, this should not have actually happened, okay, just saying. But since it did happen, it could have easily been avoided on RJ's part. Like all RJ, all you had to do was just say there were many skeptics of feathered Tyrannosaurus, and then put a comma, so what? And that's it. Or just basically put a full stop after that, and that's it. But the moment you started slandering me, yeah, dude, mistake, big mistake. So, and you fell for it because you just couldn't help yourself, could you? So I'm not, as I said, I'm not approving of what Attila did here, but I'm just saying that it just seems to be so easy to bait you into doing the things you seem to love doing so much. And even after all of this, you still refuse to openly engage me in a conversation because you know exactly what's going to happen. What's going to happen is that this barbecue from medium would turn into well done. That's how it's going to go. That's basically what it is. And then of course they carry on here. And he goes here. He goes, why do you like Ikirex so much? Oh my god, so salty. He hates lips. I never said I hate lips, by the way. You took it out of context. You never cited any direct examples or quotations where I say that. I never actually said that I hate lips. I hate certain trends, but the trends themselves don't have to do with lips. It's just the idea of how the trends work. That's what I don't like very much, and that's what I think is distracting from the main things at hand. But in any case, yeah. And then he goes, you seem, because feelings. He has feelings about it, so he has to express it because apparently that's true. And yeah, of course, then they go off their own thing, and of course, Othello just like goes all out on him, whatever, just like cursing and shit. So yeah, no, we're not going to get down to that. But that's the whole point. Like this is the bitter part here. It just goes, why do you like Ikerek so much? Why do you like Ikerek so much? Oh, I can almost hear that grid. Oh, the grid is polished. Nice. Put it on a thing and light that thing up now, please. Thank you. Anyway, so let's continue. And oh, they made another comment. It's not worth my time dealing with you. I will be blocking this. Yeah, of course you would be because yeah. What else can you do, RJ? You only like block people and lock things down, whatever, because you could have easily like come to talk to me directly. You could still do it actually, RJ. You could come to my live stream and totally own me in a conversation if you want. But you decide not to do that. You think that just throwing around random comments and slandering me is gonna help you, and making like primary school level jokes on your live streams about my name is gonna also be somewhat uh, getting under my skin. No, it just gives me more time, just more reasons to entertain. By the way, guys, while you're at it, while you're getting that barbecue ready, before you get that, and while you watch the video, make sure you grab some popcorn and drinks and make this popcorn industry super rich, because things are gonna go down, and we need some snacks. We must get some snacks. Do it. So now let's go into this one. This is another interesting one, okay? This is another interesting one. So Contract Lexicon made this nice Rex head, and he goes on. It's like lips on T-Rex is fake news, which is actually true because it is technically fake news. Although it's very, you can tell that he was trolling, but it's not like he was wrong though. He said the right thing, but whatever. So, of course, RJ couldn't help himself as usual because RJ's just being RJ just goes, "Oh man, why you gotta be like this? More salt." And by the way, speaking of, add some salt and pepper on top of that meat, please. Thank you. So, and he goes like, "There is no evidence." Okay, RJ, you bring that up several times, so I'm just gonna address it straight away. That burden of proof always applies to the positive claim. If you cannot prove anything being present, then I have all the right to reject your claim without having to prove, provide proof for it. That's how it works. Negative claims don't carry burden of proof unless you have already been able to provide me with the reliable evidence to prove your claim, then I would have to come up with evidence to disprove it. But since you haven't been able to provide anything to prove yours, I have all the right, and everyone else, for that matter, has the right to reject your claims and simply just, you know, simply not accept them and dismiss them outright without needing to prove you why, for every evidence of not having them. So whatever, basically, you get the idea. Burden of proof always lies on the positive claims. Negative claims don't carry burden of proof unless what I said earlier on above. Whatever, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I would caution against, but then he goes, Jokaguchi is la la la, I would against associating with him. Okay, whatever. So yeah, they go on their thing, but I'm gonna focus on things where it comes to my points anyway, because it just goes, AKRX is an armchair expert. Well, I'm glad that you flatter me because I'd never claimed to be an expert, but I'm glad that you recognized me as an expert. As for armchair expert, I think you are. I don't think you actually understand what that means. You yourself actually qualify to be an armchair expert, RJ. Just saying. Just as like pretty much most of your fellow team developers in Saurian, they also qualify to be armchair experts. It's like everybody can qualify to be as an armchair expert. So what kind of big deal is that? I don't understand. Then you go on to say, no idea what he's talking about. So I don't know what you're talking about either. By the way, nobody knows what you're talking about here. So whatever. But then he's saying, this is a very interesting one. Uh, JP Gucci is a confirmed racist, and he provides context. No, this is the only time he ever provides context. He doesn't do it ever again. And then basically they go on with contract lexicon, and then of course uh, he brings up some points about why that I'm not a professional in my field, which I am not. I never claimed to be, by the way, which is true. And he also said, so what does that mean? That, well, by talking to, he probably meant that people who I not just quote but whose paperwork I cite. Basically, that's what it is, because that's what I do. I don't just I always advise against the word of mouth. Sometimes I put it out there, but I always make it clear that where things are just words of mouth and where things can be verified and etc. Everybody who is a regular and loyal subscriber to my channel knows that already, so it's not like I have to prove that. But if you want to, go back to my videos and rewatch them. Have fun. Get and make the popcorn industries rich, by the way. Also, how's that? How's that fire going on? Is it like, has it come down enough yet? Let's spread the charcoals, guys. Come on, lay it all out, lay it out, and let's get the meat ready for roasting. So then he just goes on. I'm not threatening, blah blah blah, just whatever. But then he goes. Also, you cannot decide uh, how people know you or where you know them from. Well, where they know you from feels like just a good rule of thumb to not associate with known racists. RJ, you know what? You may be right. Actually, you may be right. Although Contradexicon directly counters it again and says that it doesn't mean that he associates with him closely just because some guy follows him and basically like messages him. Maybe I don't even know if that's even the truth. I mean, he messaged me a couple times, JP Gucha, uh, for advices, but that's as far as it goes because every subscriber of mine pretty much messages me at one point or another. So what if one of them or more of them happen to have expressed any racist views? So now all of a sudden I should not let them message me for things like what's that about? It's not like we work together or we're close friends or we associate with each other in that sense. I mean, all there is to it is that they are just following our content and our work. So that's what it is. So if that's the case, I'm pretty sure that amongst thousands of subscribers that you have, RJ, you would probably find a large amount of people who are also racist. I can guarantee you that. So what does that mean? You should go out and pick them out and disassociate yourself from them? I think that's a bit strong of an opinion there and rather short-sighted, don't you think? But hey, that's fine. Let's follow your advice on it. Let's assume that associating we mean closer association. You know, like becoming friends, becoming part of the same team. You know, working together. So let's take that for granted here. And then of course he says that I cherry pick my data. And then he goes off on his rant about because he got triggered that Dr. Carr used you know a very very exaggerated example of T-Rex being a bipedal alligator, which is exactly the same kind of example when other people use it as an an overgrown chicken with teeth. So it's the same thing. And RG got triggered by the fact that it's got a bipedal alligator. So yeah, then he decides that you know they should have compared osteological correlates with Lepidosaurs, etc. And you can Google basically the Komodo dragon skull, and you can Google alligator skull, and you Google a variety of T-Rex skulls, but also bear in mind that you need to look at the originals, not the casts, because casts tend to lose out a lot of details. So yeah, he claims here that the bone texture and foramen account is much closer to that of Komodo dragon, blah blah blah, than alligator. So yeah, you can test that claim, and you will see that in 95% of the time you will find that that is not correct. So go ahead and test that claim, and also let's are the charcoals ready, guys? Okay, charcoal's ready. Okay, let's put that meat on a grill now. So put it on the downside first, okay? So yeah, I can hear the sizzling already, don't you? I hear it. Okay. Anyway, let's continue while that gets roasted. So then, of course, Contrad Lexicon goes on. He asks him, what sort of data have I neglected? Which is true. I never neglected any data in particular, unless it's a blog post, which is not data. It's just person expressing their opinion. And I don't really care about what opinions people have. They have all sorts of opinions, and there are many opinions out there. And that's fine. They're welcome to have them. But if it's outside of what the data itself suggests, then don't, and which mostly it is, because none of the opinions that he tries to rely on, by he I mean RJ and his team, there is no data to support it. It's just an opinion that they use in blog posts as their science, basically. So if that were the case, if that's the new standard for science, guys, let's go and let's find these blog posts. I have so many good ones out there. So yeah, let's go. Yeah, this side is not quite ready yet. Okay, we'll wait for it, guys, and we'll flip it later. Anyway, he goes on and on and on, and then he goes like, I will not debate AK Rex outside of occasional YouTube comment. RJ, I tell you what, when you're going to be making comments on my videos, I'm never going to respond to them directly in the comment section. I'm just going to make videos about responding to comments from time to time, and I'm going to keep ridiculing you until you agree to either debate me or you just shut up about it and stop slandering me. There's only two ways you can do it. Either engage me in the direct conversation, or you just shut up altogether and stop slandering me, and that's it. So this is a very interesting bit here, and again, no context, nothing. Just says he's a leech, that I'm a leech apparently. But hey, you just described me as a leech that depends on content of others to exist. That's kind of the point, RJ. People do review, people share their thoughts about certain subjects. So every time you produce content that somehow brings any kind of subject discussion to the table, you technically leech off that subject to produce content. That's kind of how it works. You just basically describe what, like 80% of content creators out there, and like it's a bad thing, but I don't know. Doesn't look like, it doesn't strike me as such. So I guess we just have a difference of opinions here, and as far as I'm concerned, it's not even an argument. I have absolutely nothing to gain from talking to him, but he has a lot to gain from me. RJ, there's a saying, a wise person can gain a lot more from a stupid behavior and response of others, while a stupid person and a dumb person in general just lacks the ability to gain anything from, a clever statement or a clever response. That's just basically how it works, and I'll leave it up to you to do the math to understand who is who in this scenario, since you made it clear, loud and clear, that you are the one who has nothing to gain, but I have a lot to gain, so you can do the math here. In any case, let's go back to this claim that he made earlier on. RJ, you made a good point about not needing, not associating, with racists. That's a good point you made. Although in your opinion, it strikes me that you have a very odd perception of what racism is, because you called me different things, including racist, but there's never been anything racist about anything I've ever said. You've taken it out of context before, and I've got the video of that already. So it strikes me that your buzzwords are just losing its meaning at this point, and there's just really nothing more attached to it. But okay, let's take your claim here for granted that you should not associate with known racists. Let's take it for granted, RJ. I agree. Now let's go back to Saurian, and let's just take a quick look at this guy. So you know who Tom Parker is, right? Let's go to this Feather Nazis group. Yeah, you knew exactly. Oh, there we go. Well, that was back in 2013. But let's just check who Tomosaurus is, just so we know that yeah, that's the same guy, Tom Parker. It's the same guy here. See? That's his face right there. So you know exactly who he is. And that's a... we'll get to that in a second. So if you go down a few comments, threads, he made a few posts, responses, so he was obviously either an ex-member or he might have been an ex-moderator of the group, right here, where he goes, subject from a further Feather Nazi, by the way, moderator, Martin, you remember that name? This is the guy who is actually in the field, and I think he studies birds or something like that, and he's also known Feather supporter for like things where they don't even belong, as far as I understand. But I don't know him all that well. But I would advise to remember that this guy is an ex-Feather Nazi. So, just remember that. And Tomosaurus here seems to have been very active. So very clear to me that he was at least either somehow closely associated with the group, or he was a member, or maybe even he was a moderator. That is what I know from that point. So let's just say this. That's already enough association with somebody who has strong ties with a group with the Nazi symbol on it. Like, how much more racist can you get than a Nazi symbol, guys? How much more racist? Let's just Google the Nazi party symbol. Let's just Google it and see what it shows us. Oh, look at that! Wow. Striking resemblance, isn't it? With a few minor photoshopped details to look, to give it an Archaeopteryx look. But yeah, that's basically as racist as it gets, pretty much at this point. And but that's one. Well, okay, so you could say maybe you could try to shoehorn a controversy here, saying that he stopped associating with the group prior to becoming Saurian crew member. You could try to make that argument, which is fair enough, although. RJ made it clear already, generally good rule of thumb not to associate with known racists. So how do we know that Tom Parker is not racist by having been associated with this group before? Because as far as I'm concerned, that's very racist here. Now, let's go down to this guy, Chris Masnaghetti, or Chris Masnes for short. There's a reason why I brought him up, because hail Feather, Chris Masna. Feather Nazis, because somebody has to end with the lizard-looking dinosaur depictions. Fanboys, you will be corrected. By the way, flip that barbecue on the other side, please, thank you. Anyway, would you look at that? But why did I bring Chris Masna into this? Well, here, that's really simple. All you have to do is go about us, and here, he's listed as the founder. There we go, right there. We have some notable members that you should probably make note of. You can look through them and piece the pieces together, but we'll do that separately. It's not important right now. The important thing is that you have a dev team member who works for Saurian, associated with you, RJ, by the way, who is the founder of the group that represents racism, because it has Nazi in its name, and it's basically a rip off the Nazi symbol. Nazi party symbol. That's as racist as it gets. So RJ, you're a dumb hypocrite as far as I'm concerned, because you are associating with racists, and your entire team is basically associated with racists, Yet you're the one preaching from a moral high ground here, like you know better, and you call everyone else whatever you think they are, but yet you yourself don't follow your own rules, and that is why your arguments also fall short. So yeah, there we go. Associating with racists, like potentially, maybe, because just by association. But let's just say, for example, if this is not the case, if we have this guy who is basically the founder of this group, which is in a lot of ways responsible for a lot of toxicity in the community overall, this group itself. And it was founded by Chris Masna, who is, again, part of the dev team of Saurian. So, and now RJ, why don't you tell me, why are you associating with them? And why is your team associated with racist? You just said that yourself. So that's a very interesting point here that I would like to find out how you guys are going to go about this in the future. And I'm going to follow your advice. And I think, guys, we should all follow the RJ's advice on this. Shall we? Yes. So you said, RJ, feels like a good rule of thumb not to not to associate with known racists. Okay? You guys got that. So let's do them all a favor and follow his advice and not associate ourselves with Saurian development team and their product. And let's all of these backers out there who have contributed to that huge figure of 220 whatever grand that they've raised. Let's just go on, get your money back, because you're associating with racists now. Basically, you are. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm gonna continue to not want to support this project because, RJ, following your advice, I will not associate with racists. So there we go, guys. Barbecue's ready.